it's Adam with the Adam Haney Home Loan Team advocating on behalf of veterans. And this week I want to tell you about the VA funding fee. And one of the cool things about VA loans is that they don't have mortgage insurance. But what they do have is something that's known as the funding fee. And the funding fee is what the VA uses to insure lenders against any potential losses should a veteran default on their loan. It's also one of the reasons why so many lenders are so eager to do VA loans, because no other type of loan offers this sort of assurance. Not jumbo, not FHA, not conventional. Now, the amount of the VA funding fee depends on a variety of things, including things such as service, whether the veteran was active duty or reservist, Coast Guard, whether the veteran has used the VA home loan benefit in the past, the purpose of the loan, the amount of equity, and whether or not the veteran has a service-connected disability. Typically, the VA funding fee is financed into the loan amount, but in some cases it might be paid in cash, usually in the form of a credit. For the purpose of this video, I'm not going to go into all the details of the different amounts of the VA funding fee, but instead talk about how a veteran can avoid paying the VA funding fee altogether. And the only way for a veteran to avoid paying the funding fee is to demonstrate any degree of service-connected disability. Now, the VA has a disability rating system which typically goes from about 10% to 100%. Probably the most common type of 10% disability rating is tinnitus, which is a constant ringing in the ears from exposure to loud noises such as firearms, artillery, helicopters, and jets. Now, for most of us civvies, that's military jargon for civilians, we might incorrectly assume that a veteran who's 100% disabled will show obvious signs such as missing limbs or wheelchair assistance. But it is possible for a veteran to be 100% disabled and not show any obvious outward appearances, in which case the disability may be related to PTSD. The point is, you should never assume whether a veteran does or doesn't have a disability, but always ask the question, are you entitled to disability with the VA? Now, I get it, asking somebody about a disability can be awkward unless you do it the right way. The question isn't, are you disabled or do you have a handicap? It's simply, are you entitled to disability with the VA? If you ask the question like that, not only will the veteran not be offended, but they'll probably be impressed that you actually know to ask that question, because now you're speaking their language. Now, when I've asked this question to veterans in the past, I've often got the response that they probably should have a VA disability rating, but because dealing with the VA is such a pain in the they don't bother. But I'm here to tell you now, it's time to bother, because the VA funding fee is real money, and if you can help a veteran save that, that's real savings. Now, don't get me wrong, getting approved for VA disability is by no means an overnight process, but that's okay as far as the VA home loan is concerned. Because as long as the veteran applies for the disability rating before loan documents are drawn, the veteran will be eligible for a refund should it be determined that they're eligible for the benefit. And depending on how the funding fee was paid will determine how it's refunded. If it was financed, the refund will come in the form of a principal reduction to the loan. If it was paid for in cash or credit, the veteran will receive a check in the mail. When you know how to save a veteran money, then you too can be a hero to our heroes. I'm Adam Haney, and I've got your six.